Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I need to speak a little bit less loud or a little bit quieter because my boyfriend is still sleeping, and sorry if my voice is rusty, but I just woke up. You are the first ones I'm talking to today, and today I'm here to talk to you about art supplies, more specifically about the ones I took to travel and the ones that I used while traveling. I only had a short 5-day vacation, which is pretty good actually. But that means with all of this COVID thing that I wasn't able to go very far. I went to the place I usually go and it was very fun, but I barely touched my art supplies, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about that today. For the things I took, and in this case I also used, I want to show you my camera. So camera gear, I used the Canon M50 with the kit lens and a Rode Video Mic Go, which is a little bit cheaper than the Rode Video Mic. I also took the fluffy thing you put over here, but I didn't use it because, I didn't film on a windy day. I also didn't actually use the microphone. I only used the camera. Let's turn it back. It's a little bit strange to be changing the mirror instead of changing the camera. But yeah, with the camera gear I also took extra battery and extra SD card because SD cards are a must, especially the extra ones. Okay, so I think for camera gear that's it. I'm very simple with camera gear. I don't have a lot and I don't use a lot. So yeah. So on to art supplies, which I think that's what you are here for. Let's start with paper. I took I call it an ugly sketchbook, even though it is not particularly ugly. The sketchbook where I can do whatever I want, even, uglier drawings and studies and things. I only have a few pages left, but I didn't actually use it that much. What I did use was what I consider my good sketchbook. It is Caddy Paper 150 GSM watercolor sketchbook, I think. I will leave links down below anyway. It is 100% cotton and I actually use it. It is the sketchbook that you are seeing me use in the sketching parts of this video today. Really like this sketchbook so far. I have a few other videos where I'm using it. I will link them in the... Okay, then on to sketching tools. 2 erasers, nothing too fancy. A Pentel High Polymer eraser and a Mono Zero eraser, and then just a pair of scissors. I took a bunch of pens and pencils with me. I could show you all of them, but I don't think it is important because I basically took a few watercolor pencils, a few multicolor pencils, and ballpoint pens. So it wasn't something very fancy. I just took sketching tools. I also took a mechanical pencil. I didn't use any of that. The only thing I used was, in terms of sketching tools, was this pencil. It is a Derwent Inktense pencil. It's not exactly a watercolor pencil because it is permanent after you activate it with water, like ink, instead of watercolor, so that's why I call Inktense. And it is in the color Bark. It is a dark reddish brown that goes really well with skin tones, with natural things, with everything basically. And I really like it. And I also took a pencil sharpener, but that's it. I only used an eraser, a pencil sharpener, and one pencil. I didn't use any more sketching tools. In terms of brushes, I took 4 brushes. I took the Royal & Langnickel Zen brush in number 6. Didn't use it. I took the Daler-Rowney System 3 Sword 1/2 inch brush. Also didn't use it, I brought it for gouache. I also took with me a very cheap no brand filbert brush, also for gouache, and also I didn't use it. And I took one squirrel brush. It is very tiny. It is a Raphael 803 Petit Gris Pur. I don't know how to read that. In the number 8. It is a very thin brush. It looks almost like a number 2 or a number 4 in other brands, but I only use this one brush because, one, it is very versatile because it holds a thin point when it holds water. It is not as springy as, synthetic brush, but it holds so much water that you can actually cover decently large areas in flat washes. Not huge areas, but like medium-sized areas. And since I'm working in a sketchbook, I don't really have that much of a huge area to cover. So yeah, it is really nice and really soft and very useful. It is, I think, the last brush I bought. It was fairly cheap actually. I don't remember the exact price, but I was really impressed with how nice it was for the price. So I will link it down below as well. I'm going to link a lot of the things down below. Then for colors, I took oil pastels, which I also didn't use. I have like a very cheap tin with oil pastels from a children's brand. I think they are from Giotto. And since it's summer, I decided to leave my Sennelier oil pastels in the fridge, otherwise they will actually melt. And I don't want them to melt, so I took the cheaper ones. And it's nicer for traveling because since they are cheaper, I'm not scared of breaking them. I actually broke them to fit them in the tin. Since they are cheaper, if I lose them, it's okay. So that's nice. For colors, I took a tin with gouache. I didn't use this either, but I took it with me because this sketchbook, this caddy paper sketchbook, I didn't use it either, but I took it with me because this caddy paper sketchbook works way better with gouache. I don't even know what brands are in here, but my best guesses are Royal Talons and Winsor & Newton, I think. And lastly, but certainly not the least, the watercolors. It is actually my favorite thing out of the ones I took with me. I took the 2 palettes that I made on this channel and I really like them. I took the green palette and the pink palette because I think they actually really complement each other. Not just because one is pink and the other is green and those are complementary colors. Not just because of that. They each complete what the other is missing. So here we have pink, purple, and earth tones. And then, metallics. You can see how I chose these colors and what colors are in here in my pink palette video, which will also be linked in the cards there. I think since this is pink and earth tones, it makes absolute sense to have another palette that has yellows, blues, and greens, and also gold. But so with these 2 palettes I get primaries, so yellow, blue, and magenta, or yellow, cyan, and magenta. Unfortunately here I only have cobalt blue and cerulean blue, which are both cobalt colors, and also indigo. So I don't have a clear primary blue, but it's okay. I like them both and I think they serve the same purpose in terms of my use of the palette. And I love the texture, so I had to sacrifice a primary blue for the texture of these 2. I really enjoy using these 2 palettes. I had only used them on their own before, and using them together was really a joy. The only things I would change are actually the magenta here is Winsor & Newton Cotman, and I don't like it. It does not re-wet easily, and I would love to change it to professional watercolor. There is a pretty big hole in the paint, so I only need to finish it, it is already halfway there. I really enjoyed using them again. I was missing using palettes that inspire me, and I think these two are the perfect example of palettes that keep me motivated to use them and that keep my brain engaged in color mixing and choosing colors, because when you have all the colors at your fingertips, sometimes it's harder to choose. This whole video was just to show you that even if you take all your art supplies with you, your art supplies don't define you, for one, and two, you won't use them all because you will not have time to use them all, and you will not have the mental energy to choose from all of them. So what I would suggest you, based on what happened to me this week and based on this thing I shared with you right now, I would say just take less with you and make your bag lighter, and also make your head lighter in that sense, because you will not to keep track of everything, and you will still have everything you need. I think next time I travel for a week or less, I will use like one palette, one brush, one pencil. I would still like to take with me one ballpoint pen, because those are useful anyway, especially if you don't have a pencil sharpener with you. And I will take a sketchbook, obviously, but I think I will reduce a lot what I'm taking with me because of this. And I hope you enjoyed this video, so if you did, please consider liking and subscribing. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you hopefully next week. Let's see if I can make it.